Well, what I'm hearing is that Arizona is tight. They're having trouble with Arizona. It's like a
guys,
tangerine color.
You want me to mute it till we're ready?
Yeah, that's fine. Postings. Item 3.
I have a health questionnaire. But about an hour before the plane was to touch down, CDC's plan blew up. Remember earlier when we told you about this French man?
The meetings notes.
Catherine, say something.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Testing my audio. I heard a muffled sound. I was wondering what my audio or not.
Okay.
No video tonight, guys. Sorry.
Ooh.
Jenna, David, Megan, Tyler.
Timer's ready when you are.
Okay.
We're not quite ready yet, Catherine. We still got some logging on. I don't see, let's see, we got Jana, Art, and Chris, are you on the line? Chris Rocco? I don't see Chris yet. Linda Fobb, are you also on your telephone?
I am.
Okay. Okay, we have a caller on 520-591-0854. Could you tell us your name, please?
Hi, yeah, I'm Christopher O'Toole. I'm in Hunters Glen, Section 2.
Okay, we've got everybody but Chris at this point?
Yes.
Okay, what's the time? 6:30. Okay, well, while we're waiting, giving Chris a couple more minutes to join us, let me verify that I've got everybody who's called in. I've got Linda, Sarah, David, Megan, Tyler, Barbie, Kelly, Chris, and Beth. Is there anybody else is there anybody I missed? Okay, it doesn't sound like we have.
I think that's all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we have any word from Chris that he wasn't going to be joining us?
No, I didn't hear anything.
No, I didn't hear anything either. Okay, tell you what we're going to do is we're going to give it one more minute, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start the meeting.
I'll call him. Okay, let me see if he answers. No answer, sorry.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and I'm going to start the meeting. Okay, so Linda, are you going to make a public comment tonight?
I am.
And do you have any agenda items?
I do.
Okay,
Number 2,
okay.
number 3. Did you get number 3?
Yes, I did.
8, 10, 11, 13, 16, and 17.
Okay, and Sarah Teal, were you going to make a public comment tonight? Sarah, you're on mute. Okay, I'll circle back to her. David Flores, were you going to make a public comment tonight?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No agenda items either.
Okay. And Megan, were you going to make a public comment tonight?
No, thanks, Catherine. Just here to listen.
Okay. And no agenda items.
No, thank you.
Okay. And Tyler, were you going to make a public comment tonight?
No, thank you.
And did you want to speak to any agenda item?
No.
Okay. And how about you, Barbie? Did you want to make a public comment tonight?
No, I have no comments or agenda items.
Okay. And how about you, Kelly? Did you want to make a public comment?
No, thank you. And no agenda items either.
Okay. And Chris, did you want to make a public comment?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay. And did you have any specific agenda items that you wanted to speak to?
Yes, I'd like to speak to number 3, number 10, number 11, and number 14.
Okay. And Beth, did you want to make a public comment?
Yes, I do.
And did you have any specific agenda items other than number 7 that you were going to speak at?
I do not.
Okay. Okay, so right now we're going to have public comments from Linda. Sarah, did you want to make a public comment? Okay, I'm not getting anything from her, so I'm just going to cross her off my list. Okay, so we have public comments from Linda, Chris, and Beth. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we have 12 agenda items. So am I saying this correct? Bill, 2-minute public comment and 1-minute agenda items?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So Linda, you have 2 minutes. Jimmy, you're going to be our timer.
Yeah.
Okay. You tell her when to start.
Start.
At last month's meeting, the entire board, along with Sage Management and Beth Jones, put on display their true character as they yucked it up about a resident's pet pot-bellied pig, preemptively arranging for its removal from the resident's home by force, calling for a campaign barbecue, and describing this family pet as incipient bacon. The community was rightly outraged with the conduct displayed in the meeting video that showed this heartless lack of civility and a complete lack of respect and decorum by our elected officials and their contractor. A public apology from each and every one of you to this resident is in order.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, so agenda item 2 is online postings, inaccurate or misleading site names.
Start.
You have 1 minute.
Start.
Lewis's personal campaign for the Mud Board Directors Facebook page uses the Mud District's logo and a picture of Art and Catherine to make it appear to be officially linked to the Mud District. Is it the intent of the Board of Directors to convey that this page is your collective personal opinion of the candidates in the upcoming election? If so, it smacks of officially sanctioned election interference. If not, then Lewis, you appear quite desperate to go to such lengths, and I would ask the other board members to request that you remove the district's logo and any and all reference to them in your personal attacks and shameless promotion of your personal opinions on this page.
Time.
Okay, agenda item 3.
Start.
Management report from Sage Management Services.
Jimmy?
Start.
Say start. The
Start.
summary of violations for September includes 9 unregistered cars, yet that old truck remains dead in its spot still. Catherine, you are involved in every aspect of deed enforcement and escaped punishment for your own deed violation for many years. Please tell anyone listening how you reconcile punishing families with legal action when you make exceptions all over this district. Megan Dudo should also explain how she's made herself an exception to the rules of her own deed, despite having taken over $50,000 from this district through AMWANA because she professed to be helping with deed enforcement. If you can't apply the deed requirements to your own property, what qualifies you to judge anyone else's? Pods, dumpsters, yards, open storage, all items that are not contained inside of most of the deeds in Anderson Mill West. Once again, Sage Management is applying rules that are not outlined.
Time. Okay, number 10 is district rules governing violations.
Number 8.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
number 8.
Sorry. Reports from the ACC. Sorry.
I'm not even sure if this really goes there. It's just one line. I wanted to know why the MUD's website is not displaying the amended deed article for signs. Like I said, I'm not sure if it fits in number 8, but I didn't know where else to put that.
Okay.
The website is not current.
Okay, number 10, district rules governing violations of deed restrictions.
Start.
Why were these rules not followed with Debbie Henry's potbelly pig? Jenna talked about it in a meeting and it went straight to legal. Why was Beth Jones involved with this lady's pet before the woman even knew she had a problem? You have violated your own rules, once again demonstrating that this MUD board does not treat all residents equally.
Okay, number 11, minutes from prior DRC meetings.
The minutes attached to this agenda are incomplete. The instruction last month was to notify residents that the Sage's pandemic protocol, allowing deed violations to go uncited for some people while applying the rules to others, would be made clear to the residents. This has not been communicated with the community, and Sage's favors stopped on October 1st. Also missing from the minutes is that trailers now get 48 hours in the street, provided there are illuminated orange triangles in front and back of the trailer. Why is that not recorded in the minutes? Or does this grace not apply to everyone? These handshake deals are out of control.
And number 13, funding for an interaction with Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association, Hunters Glen HOA, Lakeline Oaks HOA, and Valenti Hills HOA.
Start.
I want to be sure that the community understands that all revenue that comes into this MUD district is public funds, be they in the form of taxes, fines, or what have you, and that no public funds can be used to pay the legal expenses of a non-public entity. So sure am I about what the MUD board has already done by spending $4,000 on Lewis and Megan's personal legal expenses last year for AMWANA, that I have reported this MUD for public corruption to the appropriate authorities. I am committed to ensuring that the public funds of this district will not be used to pay for the legal expenses of the Voluntary Neighborhood Association. The attorney representing the MUD and AMWANA against the suit have assured my attorney that AMWANA will be paying their half of the legal fees. I intend to do everything in my power to make certain that not one dime of the public's money is used to pay for the defense of Megan Dudo.
Time.
Okay, 16, cause number D1GN 20003773.
Start.
The first law firm, McGinnis Lockridge, had to recuse themselves because they had already provided legal advice to me and Sarah a year earlier on the very matter contained in the lawsuit. They had an irrefutable conflict of interest that they finally were made to acknowledge. I will remind any of my neighbors that are listening that this lawsuit is a direct result of Megan Dudo personally refusing to surrender records that would demonstrate the legitimacy of an ACC in Anderson Mill West, which she ran through her voluntary social organization, AMWANA. When I hired an attorney last year to lay out for her that she had violated that trust, she quit AMWANA. Instead of correcting what she did wrong, she quit and started another social group with her hand outstretched once again for funding of her personally directed activities by this MUD board.
Stop.
17, Ethics Commission complaints filed by Sarah Teal, engagement of special counsel.
Start.
As with my comments on item 13, it would be unconscionable for this MUD district to use public revenue to pay for the ethics violation of one of its members, acting as Lewis has in his personal capacity. If this board should move to use public funds for the defense of Louis Zervigon or any other member of this board for ethics violations that they have personally committed, then it is sanctioned by all of you who vote for such a motion for defense of those acts and could expose you to the same personal liability. I reiterate that I am committed to ensuring that the public funds of this district will not be used to pay for the legal expenses of any person on this board under investigation or prosecution for ethics violations. I intend to do everything in my power to make certain that not one dime of the public's money is used to pay for the defense of Louis Zervigon. I'm done, Catherine.
Okay. Okay, Chris O'Toole, you wanted to make a public comment.
Yes.
Start.
Thanks. My name is Christopher O'Toole, and I live in Hunters Glen, Section 2, and I've been there for 9 years. I'd like to thank the board for all the hard work that they've done in the past, including installing the sidewalk ramp at Sun Chase and Old Mill. I hope you accept my criticism as constructive feedback. I'd like to give some background on why I'm speaking today. On September 18th, I received a letter stating that cars parked along narrow streets impede the ability of emergency responders to get to their determined location. I reviewed the CC&R section mentioned in the letter and saw no mention of narrow streets, but it dedicated an entire paragraph to say that no vehicle shall ever be permitted to park on a driveway at a point where the vehicle obstructs pedestrians from use of a sidewalk. When I asked about the restriction, I was told SAGE is enforcing under the directives put forth by the board and the legal parameters established by the MUD attorney, and that the information you are seeking regarding deed enforcement for HG2 is posted on the MUD website. After searching and not finding answers, I asked if a link could be provided. The response was, SAGE is not responsible for posting to the website, and then we will forward your query to legal. I reached out to Jana Norton Ramirez, and she informed me that the reminders could be sent out, that the board has discussed this before the pandemic, and that she hoped it would be brought up again. I reached out to Louis Zervigon and was told that, quote, the enforcement of deed restrictions in HG2 is very straightforward. The deed restrictions as written are enforced, end quote. I still don't understand if and how this restriction is enforced, and I'm disappointed at how a simple request for information like this has been handled.
Okay, are you
That's it.
ready for your agenda item?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, agenda item 3, management report from SAGE Services.
There's a popular management saying that if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Sidewalk parking and related restrictions should be tracked to determine the extent of the problem and increase awareness. The board can then determine if different enforcement techniques are working. That's it.
Thank you. Agenda item 10, district rules governing violations of deed restrictions.
Start.
The friendly letter I received from SAGE was dated September 11th and in regards to a September 10th overnight tour, but the envelope was postmarked September 16th. From what I understand, violation letters and friendly letters are considered violation letters should be mailed no later than the next business day, per the contract with SAGE. So why wasn't that done? How is the contract enforced, and how is compliance verified? The rules require a resident to resolve issues 10 days from the date of the notice. That's the date in the letter, if I understand correctly. Can this be changed to be based on the postmark on the envelope for regular mail and to the date it was received for certified mail? If those are too complicated, then is it reasonable to invalidate any letter that has a postmark that differs from the date of the notice?
Stop.
Agenda item 11, minutes from prior DRC meetings.
Start.
The minutes for the July 13th DRC meeting seem to need a correction. They indicate that all were in favor of item 5, resolution regarding non-enforcement of deed restrictions related to certain signs. Jana Norton Ramirez indicated she would vote no during the discussion phase. When it came time to vote, Catherine Frank called on all members present with the exception of Jana Norton Ramirez. Why wasn't Jana Norton Ramirez given a chance to vote? Who is taking these minutes and how are they being reviewed? This shows just how important the recordings are, and I really hope that meetings will continue to be recorded when they are no longer remote. Thanks.
Okay, and Beth, you have a public comment.
Oh, hold on. I thought I had 14 as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake. 14, answers to prior questions from residents.
Start.
Some of my questions have received responses that do not address the question itself. I'd like to remind you that the Texas Government Code, Title 5, Open Government Ethics, Chapter 552, Public Information, says in part, the people, in delegating authority, do not give their public servants the right to decide what is good for the people to know and what is not good for them to know. The people insist on remaining informed so that they may retain control over the instruments they have created. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Beth, you have a public comment.
I do. Are you ready?
Yes.
Start.
I'm very concerned with Linda Fobb is walking the Travis County side of Anderson Mill, my section, knocking on doors, getting neighbors to become upset with one another's neighbors. This is very concerning since our section has always been very tight and personable. She started a community forum, which also is trying to divide neighbors against each other. It's not a nice place to live right now for any of us. As a measure of chaos created by Linda, she has been supportive for David, who he himself has been harassing neighbors. Even my own kids he's made contact with, and others have reported him to the police and myself. Despite his bad behavior, Linda Fobb supports him and says that he is a fine person. If these two win or lose, please know tearing neighbors apart or harassing people to get what you want is not the way to bring a community together or make our neighborhood livable or a place people want to move into. That's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, at this point, I am going to.
Catherine, Catherine, if I could interrupt. Chris
Sure.
Rocco, are you on the line now, Chris?
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, we didn't have anybody else jump on during the public comment section, did we, Bill?
No, I think Chris was the only one that joined us. Chris
Okay.
Rocco.
Okay, then I am going to close the public comment section of our meeting, and I'm going to jump immediately to agenda item 7. Hold on, let me turn my phone off here. And agenda item 7, which is presentations by Anderson Mill West Neighborhood Association, Hunters Glen Neighborhood Association, and Lakeline Oaks and Valente Hills. And Beth, did you have something that you wanted to discuss?
I do. As president of Anderson Mill West, since I took this position, I have been harassed. My kids, my neighbors' children have been harassed, and I've had to call the police on David Flores. I want the community to know that I know what has happened several times to other families as well. And please know that if you need to call the police, do so. If you feel unsafe, please do so. I'm disappointed that I'm the second president that is having to go through the same charges and the same problems that they went through with the last president. I'm disappointed to know that after all these years of living in the community, that this is happening. I've lived here 22 years. Linda Fobb and Sarah Teal, is this how you would feel if it was happening to your children or your grandchildren? Families, please stay alert. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Okay, agenda item 2, online postings, inaccurate and misleading site names, district communications to residents to correct misstatements. Before I turn this over to the rest of the board, I would just like to say how absolutely outrageous Linda Fobb's response about $50,000 that Megan has received from the Andersonville West Neighborhood Association. Your absolute continued attack on the Andersonville West Neighborhood Association to the point of giving it a lousy acronym, AMWA. Give me a break, Linda. That is just your way of trying to belittle a community volunteer organization that you do not support. Okay. Is there anything else that somebody has on this agenda item?
Yes, I'd like to say something. So we had a comment by Linda that I'd like to rebut at the last deed restriction committee meeting. So I'm going to turn on the speaker so you can, my recording, so you can hear her voice. Here we go.
Is precisely why the Andersonville Limited District doesn't.
Here we go. It's starting now.
Inconsistent messaging is precisely why the Andersonville Limited District does not allow SAGE to communicate with its residents. You need to adopt that same policy.
What I want to point out is that the statement by Linda is absolutely false. I have checked with the board of directors of the Andersonville Limited District. There is no such requirement on SAGE. There never has been. They are pleased with SAGE as we are. I think the community needs to ask itself if Linda can disinform the neighborhood to this extent. In this case, what else has she disinformed the neighborhood about? Thank you.
Louis, could you turn your light on because you look like you are sitting in the dark?
Yeah, and I'm not sure why that's happening because I'm not, but apparently, let me turn off some lights here and see if it goes away. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Is there any more discussion on agenda item 2 from the board?
Can I say something about the pig?
I'm sorry, we're past that.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's just false.
Okay. Well, actually, you know what? You sort of jogged my memory. The comment by Linda about the pig really brought back to me that she really doesn't understand everything that's going on, because there has been a lot of discussion in subcommittees about, and with the constables, about what is going on in that house, because there is real concern that a fragile elderly person is literally living in a house full of pig dew. And my question is that the kind of community that we want to live in, where we have elderly people living with farm animals in their house, and we are not willing to intervene when they are literally walking around with pig dew all over their house? So,
Catherine, if I may add to this, what's fascinating to me about this situation is that we have 2 cases of animals on property that have been the subject of attention by Linda. In the case of the pig, she supports the continuation of the pig being in the house despite the circumstances you described. We also have a situation of a person that has fowl in their yard in the form of chickens. And that is also a deed restriction violation. And Linda is very much involved in that case. So what is in common between these 2 cases? What is in common is that Linda is vociferously defending the presence of the pig, and she's vociferously defending the removal of the chickens. What's in common between those? What's in common is that the owner of the pig supports Linda, and the person complaining about the chicken also supports Linda. So that's what's in common about the 2.
okay. Anything else on agenda item 2? Okay. Agenda item 3, management report from Sage Services. And so I'm going to turn this over to Jimmy and Diana.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and review our summary report. We had 19 trash cans in view. We sent 19 friendlies because we are going over the September violations and we were still in pandemic protocol where everyone was getting friendlies. We had 4 open storage, 2 friendlies, 2 had already been certified and escalated to legal before the pandemic. So we just went with the pandemic protocol that if they were already in fine stage, we continued to monitor where they were in fine stage and send all the information to legal. We had 9 unregistered cars, 4 friendlies. They were repeats, but we were in pandemic protocol. So all we could do was continue to notify the people and tell them that it was going to come to an end and they needed to take care of their business. We had 2 certified. They were already in legal prior to the pandemic. So it just continued along that path. We had 1 friendly that we sent and it was cured. And we had 2 friendlies where we sent reminders and they had waived fines in the past. It's the same family and they have since addressed the issue with one of the cars being registered and the other one we will confirm should be registered on the next tour. 8 trailers, 5 boats, 1 RV. The boats were all friendlies. The trailer was already in legal at the beginning of the pandemic. It's still in Bill's hands. We had 8 trailers, friendly sent, 4 of those were repeats. And then we had 2 RV campers and both of those have been taken care of at the first tour of this month. 2 pods, 4 dumpsters. We sent 5 courtesy letters. 1 of the dumpsters was a repeat. And at the last tour, I think we're down to 2 dumpsters now.
Okay. Hey, and just, was there anything else? I was going to make a comment.
We had 12 yards that we sent friendlies. 10 of them were repeats. We met with the committee. We have found alternative solutions to help some of these people out. And we are expecting that most of those should be taken care of soon.
Okay. The comment I was going to make about the unregistered cars, I know that when we were we've had pushback about getting cars registered because of the pandemic protocols that are going on with with Williamson County. And I'm just going to share my experience. I bought a new vehicle last month and I ended up going to the DMV that was on Discovery twice in a 24-hour period. Both times walked in, no waiting. So if you're using the excuse that you're not able to get an appointment, you don't need an appointment to go get your vehicles registered. You can walk into the DMV on Discovery Boulevard at 8 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're probably not going to have to wait in order to get your transaction completed. Okay.
May I add to that? I've had 2 vehicles. All I had to do is get an inspection somewhere and I handled them online, first time ever. And in both cases, the tags came in a very timely fashion. And your experience, Catherine, and my experience were communicated to people, and that did very much encourage people to go out and try that.
Okay.
Okay. Overnight parking violations. The numbers have come down. We did have 2 in Hunters Glen, 7 in Hunters Glen 2. 1 of them was a boat and an RV. 4 Section 15, those were repeats. Section 16, we had 4. 1 was a repeat. Section 17, 3 was a repeat. And Section 21, we had 2 new ones. Everybody got friendlies. We had 1 tour and it has come down substantially. In October already, I think we were down to maybe 5 cars, 7 cars total. So, and of those, 2 or 3 of them were repeats. So we've had no appeals because we haven't had any fines.
Okay.
And there's been no need to communicate fines with Infomark because we haven't had any fines.
Okay, so did you have any more that you wanted to discuss? Because I had some questions.
I do not, I mean, that's all I had on the summary, but I'm welcome. I'm ready to
Okay.
answer questions.
Well, one of the things that, I asked you to do, at the last subcommittee meeting was send me an outstanding list of the issues that were at the beginning of the pandemic protocol and where we're standing with those same residents, after we're coming out of the pandemic protocol. So we had an issue. With jet skis, and is that still an ongoing issue? Was that part of your trailers and boats?
In September, yes, it was in September.
Okay. And we got the trailers. Okay, what about the kayak trailers?
It was an issue in September, but before we closed out the pandemic protocol, Jimmy had a meeting with the resident. They will be moving in a few months, but they agreed to create a temporary fence in the interim so that they can cover the kayak trailer.
Okay.
And we will confirm the progress on that on the next tour.
Okay. And then we've got, you said something about TCIV. I don't know what that is.
Trash cans in view.
Okay, trash cans in view. Okay, now I know what that. Okay. And so where are we standing with this particular, because it looks like they're using the cans to try to hide the fact that they've got a broken down car in the driveway.
Yes, I had a phone call from the resident. Due to the pandemic, we have a family situation where they have moved into the mother-in-law's house, and the car, they are waiting on a part right now. And as soon as they get the part and they have the money for the part, they will be fixing it. They have agreed to move it and cover it until they can get the part, and they will call us. They've agreed to be in communication with us and work with us and keep us up to date.
Okay.
And we discussed what the timeline was because they were concerned about getting a fine. They didn't want that on the mother-in-law's account.
Okay.
So we told them how much time there was in between. So at least to give them a chance to try and fix it and resolve it, because we assured them that the board's goal is not to fine people, but to resolve the issues.
Exactly. And that was really one of the things I was trying to point out here, is that we recognize that we've got some, even though we're not in pandemic protocol anymore, from a enforcement point of view, we still realize that there's a lot of stress out in the community, and it's really about solving problems. Okay. And so then we've also got a barbecue trailer. What's going on with that?
We have not heard from them at all.
Okay.
That was up for discussion with the committee.
Okay.
On how you guys wanted us to follow up on that.
Okay. Well, it sounds like it looks like it said you got their first formal letter went out earlier this month. So it looks like it's just going to start moving through the normal deed restriction process.
Yes.
Okay.
As soon as we came out of pandemic protocol, we were directed to initiate the process as we usually do.
Okay. And let's see.
Stated in the rules, I should say.
Okay. Okay, so then we've got nothing else is really striking me. Right? It looks like everything is just gonna move into the normal, back to the normal process.
No, just
yeah. Okay, is there any other questions from the rest of the board? Okay. Agenda item 4, pending appeals for fines. There aren't any because we haven't had any fines for such a long period of time. Agenda item 5, report from the DRC and act on restrictive covenant enforcement.
It's just a fucking meeting. So stop. You don't have to be in on everything.
Okay, somebody needs to put themselves on mute.
Okay. Catherine,
Yeah.
I had something that you had asked me to bring up on
Oh,
this.
sure.
Traditionally, WTCMUD has had a moratorium for the overnight parking over the holiday season, and the committee had some recommended dates. I don't know if you want to bring it up.
Sure. This is a perfectly fine place to do that. So just to remind everybody, we normally have a moratorium on the overnight parking during the holidays. And I don't remember what dates, what did we discuss in the past?
Hello?
Are you there?
Okay.
I think it's normally Thanksgiving through the first week of January or second week of January. Is that correct?
That's what we just stated, yes.
Yes. The week, that Monday of Thanksgiving week is the 23rd, and that is the date that you all settled on.
Okay.
And then we said we wanted to go through up to Martin Luther King Day, the same way we did last year.
Okay. Okay.
And that would give college kids a chance, if they're going to go back, a chance to go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is having a moratorium from November 23rd through January 11th. Okay, so
that is for overnight parking.
For overnight parking, that's right. So, Bill, do we need to pass a resolution for this?
Yeah, you should do a motion.
Okay. I move that that the MUD have their annual moratorium on overnight parking for the holidays to run from the period of November 23rd through January 11th.
Second the motion.
Okay. Do we have any discussion from the other board members?
Nope. No.
Okay, then I'll go. I missed that. Was somebody saying something?
I said no. I said no.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and call the vote then. Louis? You're muted.
Louis, you're on mute.
Okay, I'll just go to.
Mute. Did you ask me something, Catherine?
Yes, I asked. I'm calling the vote for the moratorium on our annual holiday parking.
I vote yes.
Okay, so Louis, Jana?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
And Art?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Did I get everybody? Did I give everybody? I'm going to say yes. Okay. Okay, so agenda item 6, trash pickup issues. Okay, so Diana, talk to us about what's going on with our recording of the pickup
Sage
process.
continues to work with Infomark. We
Okay.
have, it is a dual committee task and directive, and we are awaiting word from McKinsey. We're supposed to be having a meeting between the DRC committee and the waste committee.
Okay.
Soon. But while we're on tour, if we see any issues with broken cans or missed cans that didn't get, their trash picked up or the recycling pickup, we are reporting it back to Infomark in real time. And then we are working together with them to communicate with Waste Management the areas and the sections that are not getting picked up on the proper day to see if we can get, everyone on the same schedule. So some people don't have to wait until Thursday for their
Okay.
trash to be picked up.
Okay, so
Catherine, can I interrupt for a second? We cannot have two committees meet together. That creates a quorum.
right.
So I thought I heard, Diana, you were working on planning a joint committee meeting. You can't do that.
Well, I'm not planning it. I was just told that we were going to be invited to the committee meeting. I'm not sure if which DRC members were going to be there. I think we have one member that sits on both. So it wasn't an issue of, I'm not sure how it was going to work.
Who's
That was
organizing?
a special ad hoc committee. That
Mackenzie was going to
Chris
organize
and
it,
I.
is what I was told.
Okay, I'll talk to her then. I'll talk to Mackenzie.
Yeah, I
Okay.
thought we had an ad hoc committee to deal with this, didn't we?
Yes,
Bill?
and that's Chris and I. And,
Yeah. And
so
and
it
you
would be anybody, would be us.
and you and Chris are not a quorum. And number two, I think it's important to note that in the normal course of their work, the SAGNASs are seeing these problems. So they're reporting those to that ad hoc committee, which does not increase the volume of work they have to do, despite the criticism of certain parties named Linda Favre.
Okay.
You all just tell us where you need us to be and we will show up. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Agenda item 8, report from the ACCs. I don't think we have any ACCs on the line tonight, do we? I don't think so. Okay. Agenda item 9, requests from Anderson Mill West, Hunters Glen, Lakeline Oaks, Valentes Hill, related to deed enforcement, deed restriction enforcement. I don't think we have any from anybody on the line for that, do we?
No, you don't have any.
Okay, so number 10, district rules regarding violations of deed restrictions and the procedures and tasks associated with enforcement of these rules. Do we have anything?
I have something.
Okay.
One of the things that we've been getting a lot of questions on, and Mr. O'Toole brought it up, was the sidewalk blocking issue. And when we went into the quarantine or the pandemic protocol, it was still kind of up in the air how we were going to address this. And it has come to our attention that there's new information on how to enforce it or not enforce it, or what's going to happen with that. And I was just kind of wondering if Bill could enlighten us to, this would be a good place to let everybody know what's going on with the sidewalk blocking enforcement. Is that possible to do it here?
Well, I'm not sure if there's anything new on it. I'm not sure what you're referring to as far as new.
Are we able to enforce it? Or, because I know we had a resolution, and I know that Jana had called and asked me about that resolution, and I just wasn't sure if we were to call the police or how we were going to move forward on that. Is it a police matter or is it a deed restriction violation?
I thought we had decided it was something to report to law enforcement.
Okay, and I think that's where the confusion is, because we've been getting a lot of calls asking us, why are we not enforcing it as a deed restriction? Can we clarify that for the people that are asking?
Well, we looked at it previously, and it's going to be a little different section by section, but we looked at it previously, recommended it be addressed by law enforcement.
Okay.
But also refresh my memory, Bill, because I have this recollection of having a really long conversation with you about the intricate details of where the sidewalk starts. And we came to the conclusion that the sidewalk was not owned by the resident. And so we can only enforce deed restrictions on the part of the property that is owned by the resident. Even though the MUD is taking responsibility for doing repairs to the to sidewalks, So it wasn't that part of the issue as to why you advised us that we could not enforce the blocking the sidewalk because of the very technical definition of where the property lines are.
Catherine, I'd like to add before Bill answers that the exception to the conditions you describe would be where there is an explicit provision for a violation occurring off the property. For example, the restriction on overnight parking. The overnight parking is in the street. It's not on the property. But we do enforce that because it's an explicit restriction. Since there is no explicit restriction in many sections about blocking the sidewalk, we cannot fold it into a provision that would be applicable only to the property. Now, I would point out that it, as Bill said, it varies from section to section. And I believe it may be possible, and perhaps it needs to be researched, that in Hunters Glen Section 2, there is an explicit provision about not blocking sidewalks. And if that's the case, then it can be enforced. Thank you.
Okay.
Deed restriction enforced.
So
Okay.
let me try to answer the question, Catherine. Lewis is correct, and the reason we recommended law enforcement address it because the sidewalks virtually everywhere in the MUD are going to be within the public right-of-way, and the public right-of-way is governed by the rules of the state, and the county can enforce those. In Andersonville West, in the neighborhoods that have the ability to declare, we have the ACC can declare certain items unsightly, that's limited to on the lot. And so our discussion previously was, where does the lot line end? And typically the lot line end, it's going to end on the house side of the sidewalk. So once the car has gone into the sidewalk, it's really outside of that purview. And that was why we recommended law enforcement.
Okay. So to get back to where the, circle back to the beginning of this, we need to actually go back through our DRCs and verify that we don't have the explicit blocking the sidewalk in them. So in those places we can, but for all the other places where we have that problem, we're just going to inform the appropriate governmental entity is, I guess, the best way to put it. Since we don't have jurisdiction, somebody else will, and ask them to enforce the law. And it's one of those things where, when you're walking down the street and you're having to walk into the street to get around a car because somebody has blocked the sidewalk, you find it very irritating. So it's one of those things that either most people probably would say, don't block the sidewalk. Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to discuss, Diana?
No. Jana, did that answer your question on that? Oh,
yeah. Yes, it did.
All right.
Yeah, thanks. Because what I've done in my neighborhood, when my neighbors have parked on the sidewalk, it's not a violation in my neighborhood, but I have actually knocked on their doors and asked them to please move because we have a lot of elderly people over here that need to, use their walkers on the sidewalk to get to the mailbox. So that's what I do.
And further to what Jan is saying, let me add that the first order of business should be to talk to the neighbor, because we know from experience that if you report the blocking of the sidewalk to the sheriff, which is a violation, there will be no response. Nothing will be done. So we really have to deal with two possibilities. One is to talk to your neighbor, ask them not to block the sidewalk. And the other thing would be that you can consider for the future, perhaps resolving to instruct our attorney to send such people a letter saying blocking the sidewalk is a violation. Even though we don't have the right to enforce it, we can inform them that it is a violation. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So, agenda item 11, minutes from the prior meeting.
Those were attached to your invite.
Yes, I see that.
I have no comments. I move adoption of the minutes.
Okay.
Hey, I have a question. Can we go back just a little bit? Sorry about that.
That's fine.
The other day when I was going over the Hunter's Glen 2, there is an explicit rule regarding a deed violation of parking over the sidewalk. I think I sent that to you. Didn't I send that to you, Diana?
Did you send it to me? No, you asked me questions. I remember that. But like I said, when we went into pandemic protocol, we didn't send deed violations for that.
Jana, Diana doesn't have to get it from you. She can just look it up. I think.
Yeah, it's in the Hunter's Glen.
Yeah.
Hunter's Glen 2.
But it's only is it in 1 and 2? Jana?
I did not look at 1. I just looked at 2 because Mr. O'Toole sent me an email.
Okay. Okay.
You have a motion on the floor.
Yes. Okay. So, does somebody want to second that?
I'll second.
Okay. So, do we have any discussion?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, I'll call the vote then. Chris?
Yes, I agree.
Jana?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
And I vote yes also. Okay, so agenda item 12, coordination of meeting between Sage Management and Imprimark on fines. And I think you mentioned previously, Diana, that all was good. There hasn't been anything to coordinate yet.
No.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll get some things taken care of so we don't have to send any fines.
Okay. Yeah, that's
our
really
goal.
where we want to end up. Okay, funding for an interaction with Anderson Mill West, Hunters Glen, Lakeline Oaks, Valente Hills, and there is nothing that I've received on this. Is there anything else that somebody knows about it? Okay.
No, I don't think there's anything pending.
Yep. Okay, agenda item 14, answers to prior questions from residents regarding district matters. Does anybody have anything to share?
I would like to say that Mr. O'Toole indicated in his comments that I had communicated with him, and he's correct. And I hope that we have answered some of his questions. What I told him was that the way we enforce deed restrictions in Hunters Glen 2 is we simply enforce the deed restrictions as written. It's very straightforward and very simple. Anyone in Hunters Glen 2 that wants to know what we enforce, just read your deed restrictions, and that's what we do.
Okay. Agenda item 15, lawsuit against owner of 2202 London Lane, 2700 Tierra Blanco, etc. Do we have anything to share with us, Bill?
Catherine, I'm going to recommend that we go into executive session on 15, 16, and 17.
Okay, well, I guess that's what we need to do then.
Do you have the announcement?
Yeah, hold on. I saw it in my email. Let me go get it down.
Before you read that, I'll just remind the people on the line that we're going to go into executive session. This meeting will continue and we'll return to this meeting after executive session. So you're welcome to stay on the line. As far as Jimmy and Diana, I'll take down the information to give to you later on the executive session and any action taken after, so you don't have to stay on. You're welcome to, but only going to be taking the board into executive session.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, I've got it. You ready?
Yeah, it's going to be on those 3 items, 15, 16, and 17.
Okay, the Board of Directors will now go into closed session for consultation with the district attorney pursuant to sections 551.071 and the Texas Government Code regarding agenda items 15, 16, and 17.
Okay.
And
So-
you're now going to send us a new link, correct?
Yes, I'll be sending the board a link to the other meeting, so you'll need to leave this one and join that, and I'll be sending it to you momentarily. Okay.
Okay. Okay, are we all here yet?
Let's see. No, well, we don't have all the directors back yet, Catherine.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
So Bill, when we go into executive session, does the meeting just keep recording dead space, so to speak, or do you pause the recording?
I normally pause the recording. I think I forgot to pause it that time though.
Okay. Oh, phooey. Oh, there it is.
Let's see. All right. Chris Rocco, are you there?
I am here.
Okay.
There's Lewis.
Got Lewis,
Okay.
Jana. Where's Jana?
Yeah, we're all here. Okay, so I'm ready to read my statement.
Yes.
Okay. The Board of Directors has concluded its closed session and is returning to the open meeting. No action was taken during the closed session. Okay, so we were at agenda item 15, and I don't believe there's anything to discuss.
Correct.
And agenda item 16, I do not believe that there is anything to discuss. Correct? Okay.
Correct.
Agenda item 17, Ethics Commission complaint filed by Sarah Teal, engagement of special counsel to defend such complaints, payment of costs of defense of such complaints.
I want to make a motion. I want to make a motion that we approve the resolution authorizing the board to make payment of the expenditures as presented.
Okay. I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, so do we have any discussion? If not, I'm going to go ahead and call the vote. Chris?
Yes.
Jana?
Yes.
Art?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, so agenda item 18, adjourn. I need somebody to adjourn the meeting.
I so move.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
And bye.
I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.